Hi, this is Ed Lehner, and I'm with the Chelsea Weight Loss Community. This is my video vlog for Friday, May 4th, 2012. Welcome to the weekend. The reason I'm vlogging today is about Bob Harper. In fact, if you've read my blog on Tumblr, I ask, is Bob Harper the devil? And I say that somewhat, of course, provocatively, but I want to talk about this idea of the cult of thinness and people like Bob Harper. Now, as you know, Bob Harper is famous, I guess, for the competition of The Biggest Loser. In fact, he's probably one of the best-known trainers in America, next with his partner, Jillian Michaels. But I wanted to talk about this idea of thinness and the collaboration of thinness in a person who has a body frame like Bob Harper and the focus on men becoming thin or skinny, particularly skinny. In fact, Bob Harper's most recent book, a thing called The Skinny Rules, just recently was released in May. Bob Harper, as you know, his first book was in 2008, and a book was called Are You Ready? In fact, I actually critiqued that in a recent blog. But his most recent book, The Skinny Rules, I think goes a little bit farther. In fact, the idea of a book with the word skinny in it is marketed to men is somewhat disturbing, and I highlight this because most men need to focus on body mass and leanness. That is a good portion of muscle mass with a focus on becoming lean. And I think this idea of skinny starts to move over to something that's beyond manly. In fact, actually, I recently critiqued Guy Gerber's article from the New York Times. In fact, you'll see a link to it, where he starts talking about male models and the focus on what he calls unfed rants. This idea of having unfed runts in the collaboration with skinny starts to concern me. So when you start looking at Bob Harper's most recent book and the marketing of men to this idea of skinniness, starts to help me think about the book that's now celebrating its 16th anniversary, and that's the book of The Cult of Thinness by Charlene Hess Bieber. And in Bieber's book, they highlight that, wow, this whole cult of thinness is going after a new market, that is particularly men. In other words, women for the last century, probably since the Victorian age on, since the last 130 years, there's been an ideal portrayed out there for women around a type of thinness that is unattainable, actually unachievable. And that type of, the idea that there's an ideal put out there, so you have this idea that there's an ideal, that a woman has to conform to an ideal, and she can never quite achieve it, creates a type of psychological trap or a type of psychological striving for something that will never be achieved. So when I started to think about Bob Harper's book and this idea of the skinny rules and it being marketed to men, it really does concern me because we're moving to a type of marketing to the man that focuses on skinny and ideals that women haven't been able to meet up to in the last 130 years. And now, just like Bieber highlighted in her book, The Cult of Thinness, now it's being extended to men. So I think when Bob Harper starts to market the skinny rules, we as men in the weight loss community and the fitness industry need to take a stand and say, you know, Bob, you're overlooking an entire literature that's critical of the promotion of overly thin people, of skinny people. And you, sadly, are starting to fall into that niche of people who are acritically accepting these norms, maybe because you have that type of body, and now projecting that image to the mass public. And we, if anything, over the last 140 years know that this ideal skinniness hasn't worked for women. And now that it's coming into the camp of men, I think we, as men in the fitness and weight loss community, need to stand up quite strongly against it. So yes, I'm ending my video blog, Is Bob Harper the devil? And my answer is, no, of course, well, he's not the devil. But I do think that we in the community need to say, you're thinking like the devil. I'm Ed Lehner with the Chelsea Weight Loss Community. Thank you.